What's up, and welcome back to the Play-by-Play podcast. My name is Leo West, and you're probably thinking to yourself, what the hell are four people doing on our screen right now? That's only if you're listening or watching on YouTube. But I am, of course, joined by my favorite co-host in the entire world, Jacob Smith, and I got two more surprise special guests with us. We have two NFL draft experts right here. We got Chris Rooney and Christian Beverett. They are just the best when it comes to talking about NFL talent, before they get into the NFL. And
I didn't get guessed up like this.
Yeah, we have
don't gas me up that much.
Stop. We have a special show planned for you guys. We got a whole mock draft going, so picks 1 through 32. But Chris, introduce yourself, and then Christian after.
I'm Chris Rooney.
And I'm Christian Beverett. And I'm excited to be here today. Ready to get this mock draft going. This is 1.0, so we continue, or we're hoping to do these weekly. I'm excited to join Leo and Jacob with this, and let's get it going.
We'll see about the weekly part.
Yeah, I don't know about the weekly part, man. Bro, our show's gonna be like 3 hours if we do a weekly
free agency starts Monday, so a lot's gonna change.
We're gonna do like 2 more. We're gonna do one at the beginning of April, like once free agency has died down and everything. I'm thinking like one like right before the draft too. But yeah, I'm really excited to have you guys on today. We're doing our our mock draft on Pro Football Network. I don't know if you guys used it before, but since we are broke college students, we're not paying for that PFF crap. So we are doing Pro Football Network. The first overall pick actually belongs to me in this mock draft right here. And it's the Tennessee Titans. I'm not going to hold you. I have no idea what the Tennessee Titans are going to do. I'm thinking either Abdul Carter or a quarterback, but Abdul Carter got hurt because did you see him like tweeting about, oh, I want to play for the Eagles so bad, like that? And then he like broke his collar or like hairline fracture or whatever. I mean, I don't know how much that's gonna affect him, but yeah, let's go. We got Tennessee Titans coming up first. They need a quarterback, like desperately. They desperately need a quarterback, and that's what I'm kind of thinking they go here. I mean, I feel like it would be kind of lame to go quarterback first overall, but like, guys, Will Levis is trash, bro. I don't know if you guys watch. I mean, we all saw the NFL, bro. I see you smiling, Chris, bro. I know you know Will Levis is trash, bro. So, I think the first overall pick, because we're not predicting, we're gonna tell you what's gonna happen. For the first overall pick in the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans are gonna go with Cameron Ward, quarterback out of Miami. I don't know if that like messes up what you guys had, but like that's the first pick we got going there. Cam Ward, best quarterback in this draft class. Is he the most pro ready? No, I think it's Shedeur Sanders, but I think Cam Ward is definitely the best quarterback in this class. He's got all the tools. I mean, like we said, like this is a bad quarterback class. I don't think it's anywhere near the Desmond Ridder and Malik Willis class. Who's even the best quarterback from that class? I honestly have no idea. Yeah, in that class, 2022.
I say Malik Willis at this point.
Are you being sarcastic? This class is really good.
No, the quarterback class?
I believe so.
This quarterback class?
Dog. It's not top end.
It's not top end, but I believe it's better than 2022
This quarterback class. I love this quarterback class.
There's
no.
You had Kenny
Pickett
and Desmond Ridder. You had Kenny Pickett and Desmond Ridder as your 1-2 in 2022, and that was about it. I really don't see how that class is better than this one, but I'll let you go ahead.
No. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying this class is trash. But the other class before that was like the worst quarterback class of all time.
Okay, I see what you're
saying. Yeah. This like what you guys are looking for in this class is you're basically just looking for defense or skill position, because other than that you're kind of screwed. So, but yeah, Tennessee Titans opening things up. Pick number 2, I believe that belongs to Christian. So what do you got?
All right, so second overall pick, I have the Cleveland Browns here. Obviously, I was expecting the Titans at number 1 to go Cameron Ward. It's definitely an interesting situation here, considering that Deshaun Watson has had another setback in his injury progression, and so it's a lot of questions surrounding this pick, because we have the one, Deshaun Watson is most likely going to be out for most of this upcoming season.
I hope he retires. I'm not going to hold you. I hope Deshaun Watson retires, bro. That guy, he's just not coming back, bro.
I really don't know what's going to happen. And then two, I've personally been seeing rumors possibly having Kirk Cousins released from the Falcons. Right now, they met with ownership from what I saw, and they have no plans of releasing him yet. But it's the NFL; we never know what's going to happen. I still don't think that's really gonna affect anything. But again, we have Myles Garrett, who has requested a trade out of Cleveland and has reiterated that he does not want to be there. He does not plan on coming back. And even if Cleveland does not want to trade him, there's a very strong possibility that he will sit out until he does get his request granted. So with the second pick for the Cleveland Browns, here I'm going to go Abdul Carter from Penn State.
That low-key makes the most sense. I'm not going to hold you. That makes
the
the most sense, to be honest. Like, I'm thinking it this way. Like, if they trade Myles Garrett, and what I think the trade is going to be, it's probably going to end up being, like, a late first-rounder for him, and that's it. Honestly, I don't see why they don't go Abdul Carter. That makes the most sense to me. I mean, even with his injury, I don't think the Browns will be too deterred, so...
Yeah, just with the Myles Garrett situation, I feel like this makes the most sense. I mean, drafting edge, especially a premier one at that, this class is very deep at edge, but Abdul Carter obviously is the best one in the class. I just feel like he has that Myles Garrett potential. Obviously, Myles Garrett went number one in his class, but I believe that Abdul Carter has pretty much shades of Myles Garrett, if you will, and he'll definitely be able to take over and pretty much produce the same production that Garrett did, I feel like, or at least to an extent in Cleveland.
Yeah, he did like Abdul Carter did like a reverse Zach Ballin. Or actually, no, he did Micah Parsons, because Micah Parsons was the off-ball linebacker, same with Abdul Carter, and they just moved him down the edge. And here we are, talking about him as the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. But yeah, that makes the most sense for me. I could see them going Shadur Sanders, but like, just wait for Arch Manning if you're the Browns, because like this rebuild is not going to take 1 year, bro. They are so dog. They're so dog poop, and I mean that, like with all due respect and pun intended, by the way. The dog pound is dog poop, bro. So let's Chris, I believe you as a resident New York Giants expert are gonna have pick number 3 here.
Yeah, I do have pick number 3 here. So having those two taken off the board, Cam Ward and Abdul Carter, the Giants are really only left here with a couple options. One smart one dumb one, in my opinion.
I already know where this is going, bro.
Both are teammates, but honestly, if I'm here with the Giants at number 3, I might be looking to trade down from this pick. I think you can get a lot of draft capital because you're not getting that franchise quarterback right now. Obviously, I don't think Shadur Sanders is going to be that pick at number 3, or it shouldn't be at least. If Joe Shane does that, I think he should be fired on the spot.
Probably ever do it already. He should have been fired already.
Probably should have been fired in the offseason.
He should be fired in the offseason, bro. After the Super Bowl.
We're not doing trades this mock draft, so I'm gonna take Travis Hunter here. Obviously, he won the Heisman. He's probably the best overall player in this draft. Maybe you can argue Abdul Carter, but yeah, I think if I'm Giants ownership here, I'm taking Travis Hunter and not regretting it at all. I think they're gonna address the quarterback situation in the offseason. I think people like Aaron Rodgers have been rumored to go there.
Hell no. We talked about that last week, bro. Aaron Rodgers is going to be so booty on the Giants, bro.
Hey, if he's bad, that's fine with me. We're getting Arch Manning next year, bro.
I mean,
that's why I'm saying we trade back in this draft. We get draft capital and make sure Arch Manning is a Giant next year. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my
Interesting
god,
plan.
dude. Interesting plan, bro.
And maybe you can hire Eli to be his coach or GM. I mean, he's 3-0. He's 3-0. He's 3-0 at the Pro Bowl.
Oh my god.
Name of the New York Mannings at that point. Oh my goodness.
Please do.
New York football Mannings.
Yeah.
I really wish there was a team in St. Louis, because his Arch Manning would be perfect for that, dude. Arch Madden.
Why St. Louis?
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to pair the connection here.
Oh, Arch.
The big Arch.
I got you.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude. Holy shizzle.
That's like a dad
Oh my
joke right
god.
there, man. That's
Chris, you live in Iowa, bro. What the hell?
That is not near St. Louis down there.
Yeah.
Oh my
All right, yeah. So, yeah, Travis Hunter to the Giants. I mean, I mean, I think he's going to play cornerback. I don't think he's going to play wide receiver that often. I think it's going to be like exactly like Deion Sanders. So he's going to get like 15, 20 snaps the most at wide receiver. So don't take him in your fantasy drafts, guys. Don't take him in your fantasy drafts. Don't take him in your dynasty leagues. Just trust, bro. It's not going to work out.
I'm taking him.
That's some D riding right there.
I think he still has a chance to play receiver for the Giants, just because, I mean, we suck, but
you guys are thin at that position for sure.
Bro. What team that's bad is not thin at wide receiver, dude? Like, I mean, you all got neighbors in Wan'Dale Robinson, so like obviously, so I mean, if you can tell by the
if Aaron Rodgers comes, maybe we'll get Devontae Adams as well.
Oh, there you go, bro. Because Devontae, you know what Devontae Adams wants to do is I don't think he wants to move, so. I think he's just going to want to stay put.
Oh, he's going to convince him.
Never look better.
Yeah, 5-1 in New York never looked better, bro.
5-11 or 5-12 now. The
extra
game, but yeah, I have the New England Patriots here at pick number 4. If you guys are all done with Travis Hunter over there, but when I look at the Patriots, I see a very, very young team. Obviously, this roster is a little bit incomplete, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They have some solid pieces on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the secondary. I mean, with Christian Gonzalez, Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers, that's kind of like locked up a little bit back there, at least for a while in their secondary. Some solid middle linebackers and pass rushers, but this offense really has holes, especially in New England. And one of those positions is receiver. Obviously, they were really kind of just throwing out Demario Douglas, Jalen LePolk, and Keyshawn Boot at receiver last year. I really don't like that.
Bro,
So
you don't mess with Pop Douglas, dude. Are you kidding me?
Come on, man. We're not hyping
he's like
up
the best
right
yak guy in the entire division, dude.
Understood, but that's not a number one receiver. I know we're not going to hype up Demario Douglas on the show. I'm sorry about that.
This is a Pop Douglas podcast. I don't think you understand how good Pop Douglas was, bro, or is, bro. I'm going to tell my kids that was Jerry Rice.
We are not doing that right now. Anyways, we're going to solve that kind of hole with this pick for number 4 at the Patriots. I'm going to go Ted McMillan out of Arizona, wide receiver. I really think this does fit really well for the New England Patriots. Like I mentioned, the holes. He's 6'4", 219, so he's got that big frame.
Damn.
He has lots of ball skills. He had 1,319 receiving yards in 2024 on 84 receptions and 8 touchdowns. That was 3rd in the FBS for yards, so he's obviously proven that he can play at a high level. Arizona at college, they played some good competition. He's a very good deep threat. He's great at catching jump balls. Obviously, at 6'4", he's going to catch a lot of balls over cornerbacks. That's kind of what he does best. I just want to see him kind of win some more routes at the line of scrimmage. Just his height, he kind of uses it in his advantage. His athleticism isn't always there. Or excuse me, his routes past the line of scrimmage. He's good at winning over the cornerback there. But once he's kind of running his routes, it seems like he coasts a little bit. His downfield speed isn't always going to translate. So I feel like it's not a risk for New England to take him here. Obviously, there's things to work on with a prospect. But he's a little bit raw too, I believe. But great ball skills. That 6'4" frame is really going to help him out. Great hands, elite adjustment skills. Just want to see that speed and athleticism improve, but he will on an NFL game plan. But I really think this pick is going to help New England, especially giving a receiver to Drake May. He can definitely be a true number 1, and I think that's how he's going to kind of fit into New England's mold there. And I really expect some big things from the May to McMillan connection in year 1.
Yeah, bro, May to McMillan. Bro. Also, I saw people on Twitter calling Drake May DM10, bro.
Yeah, we're not doing
No one is calling him DM10, bro. That is the worst nickname. Honestly, I know we talked about the anomaly a couple weeks ago and Jason Tatum and all that crap, bro. What the hell is DM10, dude? What the hell is that?
Your first mistake is getting nicknames from Twitter. That's your first mistake, bro.
Yeah, dude, it should have came from the official Bleacher Report account, dude. Oh my god, dude. Nah, I think he's a prototypical like X receiver you want to see in the NFL. He's what 6'4", 220, bro. He catches everything. This guy's a monster, dude. And he had like Noah Fafita throwing to him. He was like 5'9", so once he gets 6'3" Drake May in there, hopefully with a clean pocket, see what they do later in the draft. I mean, honestly, it's probably going to be, he'll probably end up being, that could probably be the best wide receiver quarterback duo in division, like from off rip, because like Josh Allen does not have a good enough, honestly, I don't think Josh Allen has a good enough receiver as Ted McMillan. We're just straight off rip. And the same thing, I mean, okay, well, I guess Jalen Waddle.
Dual and Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill's not playing. Tyreek Hill's not playing for the Fins. Tyreek Hill's not playing for the Fins next year.
Jalen Waddle, I feel like, still has a little bit more leverage.
No, he's not.
He's not
no, he's not, bro. Tyreek Hill, bro. He's gonna request release. He's gonna do an Antonio Brown, bro. He's he's probably gonna like fall off the face of the earth and join CTE ESPN or something like that, dude. Um, but I have picked number 5 here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're kind of in a tricky spot right here because like they don't need quarterback. They really don't need I mean they would do need skill position now, but Ted McMillan falls off the board, so you're kind of at an interesting position here because what you need is defense, because that Jaguars defense last year, it is not Saxonville, bro. It is let up all the yards and all the points, give them all to the opposite teamville. That's what it is, because that is just a horrible unit. Like besides like I can't even name anybody on their team. I honestly can't name anybody on the defense, bro. Like it's just
who's the one that just
Josh Allen.
Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon Walker. The one that took him.
Trayvon Walker, that's who it is, bro. I want to say Hines Ward or something like that. Yeah, Trayvon Walker. He's not John. He's Josh Hines Allen, right? Josh Hines Allen,
yes.
Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about forgettable draft picks right there. Trayvon Walker. I'm sorry if you're listening, because he totally is listening, because we have the biggest podcast network in the entire nation. But like, yeah,
first
he's like,
overall.
He
he's not
double-digit
bad.
sacks in 2024.
Yeah, but first overall.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Hold on. You better speak with some confidence, Jacob, because 10 sacks
I'll look
in
it
the
up.
NFL
Keep talking about the
No,
Jaguars pick,
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. I'm also doing it. But...
Damn, all right, back-to-back 10-sack seasons. Damn, I stand corrected. Yeah. All right, it's just because he plays in Jacksonville. If this dude was on the New York Giants, he'd be like the best. He'd be the best D tackle in all of the NFL, bro. Why doesn't the NFL post anything about Jacksonville? Do they have like a vendetta against Shad Khan and Liam Cohen? Like, do they not like those guys?
Stink.
Well, I mean, like okay, they shouldn't deride Trevor Lawrence so much. They should deride Trayvon Walker, bro. He's got 20 sacks in the last 2 seasons, 20 and a half. That's competing with Chris Jones for sack numbers. The only other D tackle who had more sacks than him was Leonard Williams last year. So, but speaking of defensive tackles, I honestly think the Jacksonville Jaguars go at Mason Graham here. You go best player available because you're looking down the board. You don't. I mean, like I could see him go Ashton Genty. I really could see him going Ashton Genty, and I think we're in the area where running backs are okay. You're okay to draft running backs high again with Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Thank you very much, Lions and Falcons. So. I think that I honestly think that could happen too. I could also see him going Will Johnson or Shamar Stewart, any of these other defensive guys down the board. I could also see him going Will Campbell or Armand Membu, because they both really profile as guards better than they do tackles. I think Campbell has the best chance to take a tackle than Membu. But like, you're looking at these guys right here and you're thinking like, oh well, they could all fit there, but I think the way Liam Cohen might want to do things is you want to build things out in the trenches. I mean, I know he's an offensive guy, so they probably will go Ashton Genty here. And I'm kind of like talking myself out of this Mason Graham pick, but it's best player available. He's one of the few blue chippers in this class, so you just gotta go Mason. You gotta go Mason Graham. Hope everything is okay. Him and Trayvon Walker actually make for a really fun defensive tackle duo. I mean, I know Trayvon Walker profiles more as like a defensive end than like a 3-4, but. We just gotta wait and see. But yeah, Mason Graham at pick 5. What do you guys think?
He's a difference maker, and I think that's what's most important. Obviously, with a defense as young and maybe not as skilled as other teams in Jacksonville, I think you go best player available, especially on the defensive side, because like you said, building from the trenches really wreaks havoc for a lot of teams. We saw it done plenty of times before. I know they have Trayvon Walker there already, and Josh Hines Allen or whatever on the defensive line. But I think
don't disrespect Josh Hines Allen. Don't disrespect Josh Hines Allen.
I'm not disrespecting him.
No, you're disrespecting him. You're disrespecting him. Don't disrespect him.
Okay, but to my point, you add Mason Graham to that defensive line. That's a very, very solid 3 players on that line. So I think that adding him, great move. Take the best player available, right there in front of you.
I could really see the Jaguars going with Mason Graham here, but I think they overall will end up picking an offensive tackle here, if it's Will Campbell or Amon Membu, but I know because Will Campbell, his combine, he had his arms weren't long enough for a prototypical offensive tackle, that people are talking about him moving him to guard or whatever. So maybe not him, but I still think Will Campbell is going to be a great prospect and be a great player in the NFL.
Most definitely.
I have to agree with Chris with that as well. just because it's such a big need. And obviously, keeping Trevor Lawrence protected means that's keeping him healthy. And so they need their franchise player to show up so they can have some of that 2023 magic again and maybe get a spot in winning that division again.
I don't think I have a chance. I still think it's the Texans to lose by a long shot. I
It'll
don't
take
think
a while.
like C.J. Stroud could probably go down with injury, and I still think the Texans win the division. I'm so serious.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
All right, Christian, pick 6.
So pick 6 here. I'm a big time Raiders fan. I don't know if you guys could tell based off of my reaction for this. Honestly, now I'm really worried about, or nervous, not worried, but nervous about this pick.
Same
Just because
thing, yeah.
obviously we traded for Geno Smith yesterday at the quarterback position. Obviously we've been looking for that franchise quarterback, and I did believe that this was the year this year, but in typical Raiders fashion, we go out and get another Band-Aid at quarterback since
Dude,
Derek Carr's departure.
You're talking about two-time Pro Bowler Geno Smith, dude. You're talking about the single season franchise leader in passing yards, Geno Smith, right here.
Band-Aid.
Listen, we see all the elite teams in NFL have gotten their franchise quarterbacks through the draft. This man Geno Smith is 34 now. And then they're talking about a multi-year extension. It's just like
$45 million is the figure.
We need that franchise guy, but unfortunately here, when we opened up, we did say that this is what's going to happen. So putting my personal beliefs aside, which if it was me personally, I would go Shedeur Sanders here, just because I love him very much. But
how much you love Shedeur Sanders?
I just think.
Tell us how much you love Shedeur Sanders.
10 out of 10. I just think he's that guy. He's that guy. We need that guy. We need that swagger. He could. We just need a dude that could throw the ball. And he's 23 years old. Like we haven't had a young quarterback starting for our franchise since 2014 when we drafted Derek Carr. So, but
who has more swagger?
Like I said.
Who is more swagger, Derek Carr or Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah, come on.
DC4, come on. Come on. You saw him.
Bro,
you saw those first 2 games of the season this year on the with him on the Saints. Like he was.
Bro, it's all Clint Kubiak.
He was pulling out his Michael Jackson dances and all that against Dallas. Like, come on, he has that swagger. But the pick.
Win a playoff game, DC4, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you for Clint Kubiak, by the way, Saints. Thank you.
But the pick here, I am going to pick based off of what I think the Raiders are going to do. So what I think the Las Vegas Raiders are going to do. Earlier on in the year, like once the season ended, like this running back class is just way too deep to be picking a running back here. But
facts.
But this is what I think the Raiders are going to do. So with the 6th pick here, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to go Ashton Genty.
Whoa!
Wow.
Interesting. Come on.
It hurts. It does kind of hurt for me to say that, but it is what I think they are going to do. Having Shedeur Sanders there on the board, like it. Honestly, I'm also kind of preparing myself so I'm not disappointed to see if Shedeur does end up dropping, and we don't pick him here. I'm just preparing myself for that. So I am going to do what I think the Raiders are going to do, and pick Ashton Genty here.
That would not surprise me at all. I don't know if you guys saw that ESPN fantasy graphic. Potential Raiders offense. They got some Sincere McCormick at running back. Like, bro, oh my goodness, gang, he is not an RB1, dude. You got to think, bro. They got to. If it's not oh my gosh, if it's not Ashton Jensen, you got to think it's like Amari Hampton, or Keyshawn Judkins, or literally anybody in this running back class. Because, like Christian said, they have to go running back. They have to go running back so bad. If they don't get a running back in free agency or the draft, it would be a failure of an offseason, in my opinion. But like, I mean, for the Raiders, I don't really understand what the timeline is of this Raiders team. Like, we're talking about like the Geno Smith trade. They have like Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is older. They don't like it. Just doesn't make sense to me. And you guys are right. Like, technically it is a Band-Aid, but like. And I don't think they're gonna go Shedeur Sanders. I mean, like, I could see it happening. Like, I think Deion Sanders would be okay if they're like would be okay with his son going there. I don't think they're gonna pull like an Eli Manning or anything like that. So, but yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I've been seeing him get mocked there a lot recently after this trade.
Yeah, I just want to add as well, like, I could talk about this for hours and hours, but obviously we don't have that time here. But it's this, like I said before, this running back class is just so deep, and considering that we did hire Chip Kelly as our offensive coordinator, I can see us as well going Judkins or Travion Henderson, which I believe Chip Kelly likes Travion Henderson more in the third round. But I don't know, man. Like, this is just probably what it's going to end up like. So also keeping that in mind. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. There we go. Going on to pick 7.
Do you guys think this is going to be the only running back drafted in the first round?
Probably.
You think so?
I don't know. Amari Hampton is legit. Like, I think he's definitely late first round talent, but I'm not saying he will. I think there's definitely a chance he gets stolen too. There's running back needy teams like Dallas and like other squads that might need one. So
yeah, but like they just instead I mean, if your player's gone at the end of the first round, like the Dallas Cowboys have an early enough pick where I don't think you could justify going. Like, the only running back you could justify is Ashton Jenty anywhere near this top 15, because none of those guys were close to putting up Ashton Jenty numbers at all. So like
nobody's gonna come close to putting up Ashton Jenty numbers anyway, though.
Yeah, like this is the best like college running back we've seen since like Reggie Bush, dude. Like this is absolutely insane. So I honestly I think literally anybody going from 5 down to the rest of the draft could go running back here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think like Christian said, this is a really deep running back class, and if one or more go in this draft in the first round, like after Genty, if one goes, I think we might see like a domino effect. People just taking running backs.
Yeah, like last year quarterbacks. I could see it, especially going early, especially going this early. Like the Cowboys, they're kind of penciling in. If Ashton Genty falls to them, I would be surprised if they're not running up to the commissioner to get that ticket in as quickly as possible, but with the name Ashton Genty on it. So, but yeah, you got the Jets coming up. You know, Chris has got both New York teams today, the Jets and the Giants. So, what are you thinking?
I mean, I had the better New York team first, but we'll go with the second best team. New
so
Jersey,
low,
I guess.
Dude.
New Jersey
the bar's
team.
So low.
They both don't even play in New York, but anyway. With the 7th pick, I think the Jets are going to be looking at offensive tackle here. I think because their QB Cam Ward's gone. But I also could see them taking Shedeur Sanders because Shedeur Sanders has fallen to them. They originally thought Sanders would be gone at 6, but now that he's there at 7, I think overall they might take Shedeur Sanders here, and that's what I'm going to do.
Ooh,
I heard it's Shedeur Sanders.
They don't have a QB.
Goes to New York.
Who's their one QB? Their one QB is what was it?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a starter.
Well, Tyrod Taylor's going to start and then eventually get hurt. So you just got to think about it.
He's always due for an injury.
He's always due for an injury. I hate that because Tyrod Taylor's like he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. Like we haven't seen there aren't quarterbacks like Tyrod Taylor anymore or Ryan Fitzpatrick. These guys who could start in a year, make a Pro Bowl, and then don't go to another team, bro. the journeyman quarterback is dead, dude. It's a dying breed, and I hate that. I hate that so much, dude. But yeah, honestly, I don't hate it. Look, if he falls this far, because looking down the board here, I mean,
The Saints.
Yeah, maybe the Saints will take
maybe.
him.
But
The
like
Saints.
all these teams are keeping quarterbacks. So if Shadur Sanders is not going to go here, you got to think that a number of teams would be getting calls from like. Honestly, I think the Seahawks should call up and trade for a Shadur Sanders. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, like any of these teams any of the teams we saw right here are going to call up and ask for a quarterback. So, but yeah, honestly, I don't really hate it that much.
Yeah, I think if they were to go, if Sanders goes off before them, if the Raiders take him or someone else ahead of them trades up or something like that, I think they'll end up taking Amon Membu instead of Will Campbell just because of his
He
arm
profiles better as
size.
tackle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
and,
taking. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I mean, there's a reason why Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the first 8 seconds of his playing time there.
No, it's not the reason you think.
atrocious.
It's because there's turf at MetLife, dude. That's
That
the
too.
reason why he got hurt.
We
That's
need
what
that
they don't.
World-
That's what they don't tell you.
We need that World Cup to come quick.
Yeah, bro. So we can finally get some grass in MetLife. Do you know the plan for that is they're going to put grass in MetLife and then take it out as soon as the World Cup is over?
Yeah, I know. I'm upset about
What
that.
the fudge? Like I don't understand that because like who I don't know who owns MetLife. I mean, I'm going to be surprised if it's Woody Johnson because he's like one of the worst owners in the NFL. So like I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case. But yeah, you have it here. Pick 7, New York Jets going to Shadur Sanders. But we got pick 8, Jake. What do you got for the Panthers?
Yeah, Panthers. I was gonna probably go a different direction, but based on what you guys have kind of selected ahead of me, I'm gonna change up my strategy a little bit here. I was thinking defense because obviously the Panthers' defense really isn't complete. Their secondary is not great. But I've kind of shifted my focus a little bit. With Will Campbell still on the table, I feel like it would be hard to not take him right here. I mean, the dude's a freak athlete, 6'6", 319. He ran a sub 540, so this guy is an athlete.
Jesus Christ.
He's got a lot of power. I think that's the most important thing for him, especially at the position. Played at LSU, so he's going to be playing plenty of potential NFL talent. He's already gotten a pretty good test with that. He's very mature. Also, I think that's definitely a good thing. Great grip, great moves, finishes blocks, great aggression. I think those are all definitely great traits that are going to translate to the NFL. And I think the Panthers really need that guy that's going to hold it down in the trenches. I think he's definitely the best tackle in the class, or one of them, to say the least. And I think that putting a franchise guy, which I think Campbell can be behind or in front of Bryce Young, is going to be the first step to Panthers' success. Bryce Young has shown that he can make good throws at times, and he's definitely took a step this year compared to his rookie season. So I think that giving him a guy that's going to be able to protect him, and that he's going to be there for a while and produce good production, I think this is the first step for Bryce Young to take yet another step, and for the Panthers to finally start piling up some wins, as it's been a while. But I'm going to go Will Campbell here at 8 for the Panthers.
Yeah, I like Will Campbell a lot. You got to build through the trenches to win, as we have said like 88 times already tonight. So, I would be surprised if they didn't go offensive line, especially if Campbell and Membu fall out of the top 7.
Yep.
But yeah. Alrighty.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah. Any thoughts,
I
guys?
mean, the Panthers, they started to come up playing better at the second half of that season after Bryce Young's benching, him coming back, and he was playing like that number 1 pick that we kind of thought he might be. And
yeah, you better buy stock in Bryce Young right now, bro. You better buy the stock on Bryce Young, dude. On BY9, I'm buying stock, bro.
BY9. I always like Bryce Young, and I think he'll still end up. I think he can end up having that third year boost that a lot of quarterbacks look to have, and adding an O-line is seriously going to help him there. Maybe getting him a weapon in one of the later rounds too, getting a wide receiver. Adam Thielen's not getting any younger.
Dude, Adam Thielen, do you guys remember when he came off IR last year and he had the ridiculous catch? I forget what game it was. It might have been the Chiefs or something like that. It might have been the Chiefs or Eagles.
I think it was against the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, yeah, in the back of the end zone.
In overtime.
What? I mean, he might still got it, to be honest, bro. I mean, like, if Tet McMillan falls, I could see him going Tet McMillan. But I
Yeah,
think
I
it
can
makes
see
sense
that.
for offensive line.
I mean, I could also maybe even see them taking a tight end. The tight end class, the top tight end class
Honestly,
is
I
very
don't
nice.
hate that. I don't
Uh,
hate them going Tyler
if
Warren.
Yeah, Tyler Warren has been climbing up mock drafts I've been seeing, and same with the Michigan tight end. Is it
Colson Loveland, yeah, he's good.
Loveland?
He's
Yeah,
good. He's good. Yeah, I don't hate it at all. But let's get on to pick number 9 here. I have pick number 9 for the Saints. They're a weird team because like they are terrible, but they have no money. So that's the worst kind of terrible to be. Like when you're in this area, like you think about the talent they have. Like Chris Olave is always hurt. Alvin Kamara is probably going to end up he's probably going to end up being a goner at the end of the season. Ryan Ramchek's always hurt. He honestly might even retire. So, and Cam Jordan might retire too. So you're looking around, and you're like, who do they have? Like who actually is like popping off the page? That like that is just like that kind of just gets people excited. And like I don't, and honestly, I think you need to make like a sexy pick here if you're the Saints. I think you need to pick a guy who's going like is gonna like people know and people are gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's who that is. So like I'm looking down this board and I don't really see anybody who's gonna who's like popping off the page right now. Who's gonna be like a big ticket guy other than like Emeka Ibuka and Luther Burden because I think those are some of the guys like that people know. I mean, I could see him go Will Johnson right here. But honestly, I'm kind of thinking. I'm kind of thinking you probably go offense because with Kellen Moore, he's going to want a guy he can move around the field and be a little bit creative with. And I like that we brought up tight end because right now I'm going Tyler Warren, number 9 to the New Orleans Saints, and he's like the earliest tight end since T.J. Hawkinson to go. I mean, this is going to happen. Like it is going to happen. I hope you guys know that this is not just a mock draft. I would put all of my life savings on this draft order. So I just hope you guys know that. But yeah, Tyler Warren pick 9.
Yeah, I think it meshes well with the Saints, what they're trying to do. Taysom Hill's been there forever, but obviously he can play different positions. But Tyler Warren can also do similar to the same. I think
But
the
Taysom
Saints
Hill's
came.
washed. He's washed. He got hurt last
He's
year
a
too.
free agent.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, also put Tyler Warren in that same offensive game plan. Use him in similar ways, which Penn State's proven they've done. They put him in for passing plays. They put him in for running plays, direct snaps to him. So I think this is really good for Tyler Warren in terms of situation. Also for the Saints, it gets a player that also allows them to keep their match of what they want to do at the position going.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what Kellen Moore was doing with Dallas Goedert and was doing with Jake Ferguson, even Jason Witten too. Like they're focal points of the offense when he was there. I mean, look with the Eagles, your focal point is Saquon Barkley, and then everybody else just kind of falls in behind there. But like, look, if you gotta air the ball out, bro, because you got no run game, you got no O line, you got no run game, but the quarterback's got to pass to somebody. Spencer Rattler's got to give the ball to somebody, and so I think that somebody's gonna be Tyler Warren.
Good pick.
yeah, that's a good pick there.
Moving on to pick 10, Chicago Bears. Christian.
Yep. So I'm gonna be up here with the Chicago Bears. To start, obviously, early in the free agency, new league year beginning, we've seen the Bears so far be really active in the market with trades and those who have been released, especially on the offensive line. Just trying to build those guys up in the trenches for to protect Caleb Williams and to also block for DeAndre Swift or potentially a running back in this draft.
I think they go I think if Ashton Genty's still there, I think they go running back.
Yeah, I was gonna address that as soon as Leo said that as well. If Ashton Genty does end up falling, we could see the Bears nabbing him here, but obviously he's not on the board. And we see the Bears team needs is listed right here is edge. Obviously they've traded for Montez Sweat, so they have him on the line there. Otherwise, we could see them address it in free agency as well. Maybe a potential Khalil Mack reunion. We have to see about that. But here we have uh, a couple people on the board, but we're going to address their needs. So here with the 10th pick for the Bears, I'm going to go Shamar Stewart.
Smart Stewart's good.
I think he's very quick off the edge. I didn't watch too much of Texas A&M this year, but he has been flying up a lot of draft boards. Early on, he was kind of like a lower round pick, but he's kind of flown up these draft boards. So that tells you something in itself. So I think the Bears address a very big need here and going edge.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He moves quicker for a bigger guy as well. Smart Stewart. I mean, honestly, my comp to him is Trayvon Walker, to be honest. So yeah, I like it. Let's move on to pick number 11 here.
Here with the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, we could first talk about Samuel getting traded to the Washington Commanders. I think that leaves a big, not a huge hole, but a pretty sizable hole for their roster.
I could see him going wide receiver, man.
I could definitely see them going wide receiver here.
Before you get into that, like the fact that Jahan Dotson got traded for more draft capital than Deebo Samuel, I think is absolutely laughable. But continue.
Yeah, I think the Deebo Samuel trade was more of a cap dump. They were trying to get some cap space, help their team out here.
100%.
I mean, I think that the 49ers are probably going to not go offensive here. I think they're probably going to go defensive. Their defense is not getting any younger, and they've kind of been lacking a top cornerback for a while. And I think they're probably going to take. I'm probably going to take Will Johnson here. Yeah. People talk about his speed not super fast, but I mean I think he had a couple, maybe one or a couple pick sixes. He had a couple chase downs. I think his speed didn't test as well as people thought in the combine, but you can obviously see the speed when you're watching him play.
Yeah, Will Johnson is an electric player. Like he is just he is flat out good, and I think one of the few blue chippers in this class. So I definitely agree with that. But we're getting on to a pick 12 here, Cowboys, and honestly, I don't really know what the Cowboys do. Like you're looking at them. Look at their biggest team need right here. It's running back, and then after that defensive tackle. But Mason Graham's gone. Ashton Genty's gone. What do you do? Tell us, Jake.
Yeah, obviously, I think some things changed with kind of how the draft was altered a little bit ahead. The picks ahead. Genty obviously has been mocked to the Cowboys for a while, but I don't think they go there. Dak Prescott's coming back with this roster. CeeDee Lamb will return to playing. I think this offense is good, but they're not going to go anywhere without protection, especially at the retirement of Zach Martin. I really like the idea of the Cowboys taking a tackle here. It addresses a team need and kind of reloads their offensive line a little bit. It's been old for quite some time now, so I am going to go Armand Membu for the Dallas Cowboys here. I think this is definitely a very, very good pick for them. 4'9", 140. I mean, I like taking my freak athletes. He's 330 pounds, 6'4", so you kind of know what I'm going for here with this draft.
He's 350?
He is. I just had it right. I think he's 340. 332.
Crap.
He's 6'4" and a half, 332. So
oh
obviously,
my God,
his size definitely jumps out at you. I think it's the right pick for the Cowboys because obviously Rico Dowdle proved he can rush for 1,000 yards. Put him behind a good offensive line. Dak Prescott will back healthy, and your receivers out there. I think this is the right pick. They already have a good defense.
Yeah, I think that you probably go offensive line, to be honest. I mean, I do think you still need to address running back later down the board, but you're sitting there and you're like, oh, well, we can just get Amari Hampton or Trayvon Henderson or Keyshawn Jenkins down the board. So, but yeah, let's move on to pick 13. That's me. Pick 13 right here is the Miami Dolphins. Honestly, I could just say, oh, they go Matthew Golden because Tyreek Hill's getting traded. But I do think they address the offensive line because you lost Robert Hunt last year, and they didn't really do a good job at addressing that there because I mean, they have Tyron Smith, or they don't have Tyron Smith. They have oh my gosh, who's the guy from the Saints? Like They have Teron Armstead, but like that's kind of it. It's kind of like all the guys you can name on this offensive line. And Membu does go. So I think the Dolphins they're just like, oh well, what do we do now? They could go Kelvin Banks because Kelvin Banks profiles more as a guard anyway, and he's really good, and I think he could become one of the elite offensive linemen in this class, whether it be on tackle or at guard. And so I think that kind of versatility kind of lends them just going straight for Kelvin Banks because their two needs are guard and tackle. So I think Kelvin Banks Jr. is the 13th overall pick for the Miami Dolphins right there.
Very good.
I like that pick. Yeah, definitely addresses the team need.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking here. But for the Colts, number 14, I think I see in every mock draft them going Tyler Warren, but with Tyler Warren gone, I'm kind of interested with what you think they're going to do, Christian.
Yeah. So the Indianapolis Colts here, like Leo said, biggest need, tight end. We're looking at other team needs, safety corner. Not sure about that quarterback. But right
bro,
here,
no AR5, bro. AR5, stop it, bro. I will not take any Anthony Richardson slander on this show. As I am the co-host, if anybody says anything bad about Anthony Richardson, I'm going to remove you from the podcast. I'm just going to kick you off the show, dude. I swear to God, dude. We're not bad mouthing Anthony Richardson on here, dude.
But yeah, so we do see how Anthony Richardson does get banged up a little bit. We do have Tyler Booker listed here, but I'm gonna go Malachi Starks. I feel like early on he was actually on a top 10 pick, but as of late he's kind of been flying or trending a little bit down on draft boards, and he's available here. He has really good ball skills, good height. He's built well, has good hands. So he's a good, like I said again, he has a good size. So right here, the Colts are going to go Malachi Starks.
Yeah, he can also play multiple positions as well. Yeah, he can play multiple positions as well. He slips through tackles really well as well. If you watch the tape, he's a very good athlete. I think that the Colts can get a little bit creative with him. They like their defense. Their defense is already pretty solidified. Put him in at linebacker for a few run stops, cornerback if you want. Obviously, safety. Great pick for the Colts.
Yeah, you could move him anywhere, to be honest. I think the fact that they really don't have a safety, I think like you're kind of still you're going like top 5 player in the class in my opinion. Because besides the fact that like I know Nick Imewori had a really good draft, I still think Malachi Starks is the best safety in the class. Like he was the best safety in the class at the beginning of this college football season. He was the best safety in the class at the beginning of the last college football season. So I don't think Malachi Starks is going to be a bad player in the NFL. And I think the Colts I think they walk away with a highway robbery in my opinion. So, but pick 15, my gosh, Atlanta Falcons. I was gonna say Miami Falcons for some reason, but the Atlanta Falcons they are an interesting predicament. You'd think they need quarterback, but they have Michael Penix waiting in the wings, pun intended. But I want to know what you think, Chris.
I think the Falcons are going to go defensive here. I mean, if you look at their top 3 needs, they're all defense. That secondary really needs to step it up. Their defense has struggled for a couple of years, and I think adding a solid cornerback here is going to be very important for them to do to boost their odds and help Michael Penix get back on the field and be that quarterback that they drafted him to be. And I think they're going to take Jahdae Barron out of Texas. He is a very great cornerback. He won the Jim Thorpe Award, which is the best DB in college football. He ran a 4.39, so he is a speedster, and he's exactly what the Falcons need.
I am in total agreement with that. I mean, with podcast stuff like that, you kind of want to disagree with each other. You guys are I think you guys actually may know too much, dude. This is the fact that we're just agreeing with each other. I want to say, no, that's so stupid. Why would they go Jahdae Barron? That's so stupid. I mean, honestly, I could honestly see that the Falcons trade back because you can see on the big board right here, him and Siobhan Revel. They're not even going to pick 24, so it's almost like you're kind of looking at them, looking at it as a reach. But yeah, I definitely am in agreement with Jahdae Barron.
Most definitely too. I just think it addresses the need. Obviously, it's a great speedster. Falcons to pair someone with AJ Terrell of that skill. I think coming out of Texas loves their speedsters. It's a great pick for the Falcons.
Horns. Yeah, hook 'em horns. But yeah, moving on to pick 16. I mean, honestly, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm handing in my ballot as soon as I can. But Jake, tell me what you're gonna go with here. I think we're thinking the same thing.
I wonder if we're thinking the same thing. I think the Cardinals have obvious needs. I think Leo wants me to go a little bit of a skill position, but I might actually surprise you a little bit. I'm thinking about Josh Simmons from Ohio State for the Arizona Cardinals here. Their offensive line just does not excite me a lot. I really think it could use some overhaul. Paris Johnson, obviously, Evan Brown, Hijad Froholt, Will Hernandez, Kevin Beecham. You read that off, and that's not an NFL caliber, I think, elite offensive starting line. So I think adding Josh Simmons is definitely the right pick here. Obviously, a little bit of a later round guy, or later in the draft guy than probably what they wanted. They miss out on some of the more elite guys like Will Campbell, Armand Membu up there. But I think going Josh Simmons is the right move for the Cardinals here at 16.
Why not Tyler Booker? He's sitting right there.
I like what Josh Simmons brings to the table a little bit more. The competition they played at Ohio State, I like, and I think that just his frame is really solid as well. I think that he's a little bit better of a prospect, just in my opinion.
I got you. Well, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet here. Actually, no, Christian's gonna keep this short and sweet here for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's got pick 17.
I'm actually going pick 17 here with the Cincinnati Bengals. And so, obviously, we see the main objective, the main thing the Bengals need to be focusing on is protect Joe Burrow.
Nah, bro, they gotta go edge, bro. Trey Hendrickson, what are we talking about? He's about to get traded.
I know, but we have to protect him. We have to protect him. We have our first disagreement here as well.
Bro, all right, go. You tell me who you're gonna pick, and then I'll give you my 2 cents.
Worst overall offensive line last year in the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals. Obvious pick here for me is Tyler Booker, offensive guard out of Alabama. Again, it just addresses the need. It's big time. He's a good prospect, obviously. Alabama is the football school, so you can't go wrong here with that pick.
I mean, I look the last 2 picks. I'm like, oh, obviously they're gonna go Mykel Williams here, dude. He's the best edge rusher. He might be the best edge rusher in this entire class instead of Abdul Carter. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, Arizona Cardinals would definitely go him, right? They would definitely go him, right? And then Jacob's reading off about here, Will Hernandez, Hataje Froholt. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense. You're telling me the Bengals don't go Mykel Williams? Jalen Williams, or not Jalen Williams. Trey Hendrickson's gone, man. Trey Hendrickson is out the door. He is as good as dead to you if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. And, you could go out and just trade for Myles Garrett, but why the hell would Myles Garrett go to a team who's in division? The Browns have all the leverage, and the same thing with the Bengals. I mean, yeah, the Browns have all the leverage in this deal, in this Myles Garrett deal. So, you got to think about who is actually going to be the next edge rusher for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, honestly, I think that Seattle might even just run in and they'll just go Mykel Williams just for the hell of it. I mean, they don't even really need edge rusher that bad. But I just still think they might go edge rusher here. But yeah, I could see where your head's at on that one. But I have pick 18. Yeah. So I could pick for my Seattle Seahawks. If you guys can't tell, I'm a big Seahawks fan. But yeah. So the needs right here are quarterback, offensive tackle, offensive guard, wide receiver, and defensive tackle. Obviously, you've seen that wide receivers become a need with the Seattle's number 2 and number 3 receivers both pretty much as good as gone before the season starts. And then you're looking down the board. I mean, there are two really good wide receivers right here in Emeka Buka and Luther Burden. I think Luther Burden would probably fit what they want to do a little bit more because he's more of the prototypical X receiver that you see. But like, I think the best position for both these guys is just in the slot. But you know what Jackson Smith and Jigba did his entire time in Seattle so far is play out of the slot. So I don't really see how any of those guys could end up coming on this team. But you look at the other needs. You look at quarterback. Quarterbacks are all gone. The top quarterbacks in this draft are not gone. And honestly, I could see Seattle trading out of the spot because that's what they tend to do. And then you look at offensive line. There are no offensive line here until Cameron Williams from Texas and Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. And I can see him going Gray Zabel, but John Schneider is on record, and I can't believe he said this. Interior offensive line is the most overdrafted and overpaid position in the NFL. And, that really speaks volumes when the only thing we need is offensive guard and center in this draft class. Like, that's all we need, but John Schneider won't do it because he just hates it for some reason. He's playing some stupid Moneyball game. But then I look at linebacker, and I'm thinking like that's the only position where I think the Seahawks could like actually address in this draft if they don't bring back Ernest Williams or Ernest Jones the fourth. So that's what I'm thinking is they go Jalen Walker out of Georgia, and I think this is like I've seen him in the PFF big board going in like his ADP is like the early second round. I think he's a top 10 guy in this class. I think I'm going to say that about every one of my picks because I got to back myself. But like I think Jalen Walker is an absolute freak athlete, and he can honestly play some edge too. Because when you look at Mike McDonald's defense, you look at a guy like Kyle Van Noy who was so successful in that defense. He plays on the edge. He can drop back in coverage. He can cover the middle of the field, and that's why you're kind of getting out of Jalen Walker too. And I was like honestly thinking that if I'm Dallas, I would go Jalen Walker too because he's kind of your DeMarion Overshown replacement because DeMarion Overshown's hurt. He's going to be out until next season. So I think the Seattle Seahawks get a steal right here. I could also see them going Jahad Campbell as well. But pick 19 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chris, tell me what Tom Brady's former team is going to do.
Yeah, I think. I think it's more Jameis Winston's old team. I heard someone say that Jameis Winston has the fun type of CTE, and I just can't get that out of my head. I think it's actually hilarious.
That's the stuff you would not see in the movie Concussion. They would not show that. Will Smith would not be talking about Jameis Winston. He'd be like, why is Jameis Winston having more fun after he got hit in the head a billion times?
Yeah, I mean, enough about Jameis Winston. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, I think it would be fun and a flashy pick if they were to take wide receiver here. I mean, just like Leo was saying, Emeka Buka and Luther Burton are still on board, and I think they could ultimately go in here. But I think they're going to end up taking. I think they're going to take edge here, and that's going to be Malachi Williams.
I like that pick.
Malachi Williams. It was about time someone picked him. Yeah. I honestly would think the Broncos would even go.
I don't really think he might. I don't think he's going to fall this far in the draft. But
no, not a chance. Because honestly, I think
if he is falling this far in the draft, I don't see why the Bucs don't just.
Well, this is what's happening, boys. This is what's happening. Exactly. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. This is thank you, Christian. Thank you for putting our heads on straight. Obviously, this is what's happening. God damn it, Chris! What the hell are you talking about, bro?
All right, we already looked at the draft and we saw it. We saw the cards getting pulled, and he's actually going to fall in 19. Something's going to happen, and he's going to slip down the boards, and he'd be at 19.
Yeah, dude, Michael Williams is going to start speed racing like Jalen Carter and fall to 19. Please, I don't take that out of the context. Don't take that. Please don't take that out of the context. I'm about to get clipped, guys. But yeah, I like Michael Williams. But moving on to pick 20, Jake, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Denver obviously proved how good of a defense they have. I know they're in a little bit of a need for a linebacker with Jahad Campbell right there. But I think there's a need that they are wanting to address a little bit more, and that is at the wide receiver position. Courtland Sutton is great. I think they need someone to pair next to him because obviously we've seen how his injury history could be. You guys have given me the pick between Luther Bird and Emeka Buka, two really, really solid receivers.
No, Matthew Golden?
He's not in my 1A tier with Luther Burden and Emeka Buka. But I am going to go with Luther Burden here. I like him a little bit more than I do Emeka Ibuka. He's a year younger. He reminds me a lot of Garrett Wilson, and I think that's definitely a good thing. He's very elusive and has great route running. He's able to stay vertical really well, which I think is kind of a really, really good trait for what he's going to bring to the table. Provides a little bit of a different dynamic for Denver's offense. I know Bo Nix can hit receivers like it's nothing. He really proved that in his regular season. So I think taking Luther Burden here is the right pick. It'll add a little bit of a flashy aspect of Denver's offense, already more than it has, and I think it'll really take them to the next level in terms of offense because we already know their defense is proven and very good and very young as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that wide receiver is definitely in play for the Broncos. I mean, I'm honestly kind of thinking like there's might be a wide receiver slide from pick 20. There just might be like boom, 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 just right there like that. So honestly, I could see DK Metcalf going to the Packers and then Seattle somehow getting that pick if they package like Metcalf in the third for 23. You know, I could see that happening as well, and I could see a wide receiver going right there. But yeah, I'm in a. I like Luther Burden going there. Honestly, if you asked me at the beginning of the year, and honestly a couple weeks into the college football season, Luther Burden's still my wide receiver one. But the emergence of Ted McMillan has kind of just kind of taken NFL scouts have just taken their eye off Luther Burden. So Broncos get a great guy.
I could see them honestly going tight end here with Colson Loveland still on the board, but taking a receiver that's going to help them out too. So
I feel like Jim Harbaugh would trade up to 20 to get Colson Loveland because if he saw because I mean the Broncos don't have a tight end. Like the Greg Dulcich experiment is over. I think it was over last year. But yeah, who is he throw? Who is his safety blanket? You know. So I mean, honestly, I could see him going Colson Loveland right there. I think that would be so hilarious for him to go to not Jim Harbaugh's team. But yeah, let's move on to pick 21, Pittsburgh Steelers. And like I said before, this is where the slide of wide receiver starts. And I don't think they picked Matthew Golden. I think if you're the Steelers, you have your eyes on two guys, and it's Luther Burden and Emeka Ibuka, who can be like the over the middle guy as opposed to George Pickens being the over the top guy, your deep threat. And I think Emeka Ibuka is the perfect solution for the need at wide receiver. I mean, like when I see them the playoff game between them and the Ravens honestly pissed me off so much because why are we throwing a deep ball to Calvin Austin the third? Like, what are we doing, dude? Like, if I'm a Steelers, if I was a Steelers fan, bro, I would like flip my table. I would throw my chair against the wall, dude, if I saw that into triple coverage. So things got to change, and I think they changed with Emeka Ibuka.
Very solid pick. It definitely meets the mold of what they want to do. Like you said, I like your point of George Pickens being the over top guy and Emeka Ibuka kind of fitting there in over the middle. He definitely can play in the slot. He proved that at Ohio State. Wasn't even the flashiest receiver there with Marvin Harrison by his side for quite some time. So I think this is definitely the mold of what they want to do.
He was like kind of the understudy to both of them.
Yeah, so he's played alongside good competition as well, and he knows like he doesn't have to be a 1A come into the league right away and be a difference maker. Really like the pick for Pittsburgh. Interesting to see that they need a quarterback as well, but this is definitely not the place to take one. I like the pick of Emeka Ibuka.
Yep. All right, let's move on to pick number 22, Christian. I know you're not the biggest Chargers fan in the world, so don't give him like Jalen Milroe or something like that here. But tell me.
Oh no, he's good. He's good.
You like Jalen Milroe? Yeah. I don't want him going to the Chargers then. I don't want him going to the Chargers then.
That's my guy.
Yeah. So tell me what the Lightning Bolts do.
Yeah, we're not gonna screw them up too much here. Like you said before, obviously, Jim Harbaugh's Michigan guys. It's hard for him to pass up on them just because Colson Loveland is a guy who he personally brought in, and he's a big body. He has a big frame, 6'5", 248. You know, obviously not a Brock Bowers. Me being a little biased here.
But Brock Bowers was my fantasy football goat from last year, bro. Round 11. How did y'all let him slip, bro? Now we continue, Christian. Continue.
Yeah. So Jim Harbaugh is Michigan guy. At 22 here, we're gonna go Colson Loveland.
This makes too much sense for me. Too much sense for me. I don't know
Jim
about
Harbaugh,
you guys.
Colson Loveland, come on. Like, it's written in stone.
It's written in the stars. A million miles away. But yeah, that is That is pick number 22 right there. Pick number 23, Mr. Rooney. Tell me what the Packers from Green Bay are going to do.
Well, I think the Packers have an interesting situation here with their star running back saying that they need to go out and get a true number one wide receiver, but having Luther Burton and Emeka Buka falling 3 and 2 picks before them, I think they're kind of out of luck there. They could take Matthew Golden here, but I don't know if he necessarily fully fits the scheme with what they're trying to look for with that. I guess they do kind of have a tall receiver, tall, fast guy, but I just talked myself into it. They're going to take Matthew Golden here.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I don't know if he's going to be that true number one that who is it, Miles Sanders?
Running back at Green Bay is
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. That's the other guy. I couldn't think. I was one of the two that went somewhere.
This is why Chris is our draft expert. This is why Chris is our draft. He still thinks Miles Sanders is at Penn State.
Yeah, I do. Miles Sanders. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. He was saying that they need a number one receiver, and I don't know if Matthew Golden's necessarily the one that he's talking about, but he's still a great option. They have a lot of receivers on that team that are kind of that I would put almost in the same category as Matthew Golden. Exactly.
Replaceable.
They're like all solid number 3 wide receivers, bro. Like
Jacob, there's some hate in there. Come on.
There's some hate in there. Hate on the gosh darn Packers, man.
The Packers receivers are plenty replaceable. I will be the first to say that. I think they have some solid pieces, but like you got guys that like besides Christian Washington, like Dontavian Wicks, like guys that are just like.
Hey, don't diss Jaden Reed, bro. You're an MSU
Jaden Reed as well.
Bro.
I know. Jaden Reed as well, but Jaden Reed is young. He'll definitely be able to find a home in Green Bay, but it provides Green Bay a little bit of a different dynamic. Adding a speedster like Matthew Golden in there, get behind the defense. You got Jaden Reed in the slot, who's also a little bit faster, and Christian Watson can play over the middle of the field. I like the pick for Green Bay. I think it's definitely good with their receiver situation.
Yeah, I think the issue is Christian Watson's got to stay on the field. So not to be confused with Angel second base prospect Christian Watson. So, but yeah, pick 24, Minnesota Vikings. So Jake, please. Don't mess up the Vikings that much, all right? Don't have them drafting like I don't even know who they would. Don't have them taking Noah Fafita or something like that, bro. Give him someone nice.
Not in the plans here. I'm not going to hate on my division rival too much. I respect what they're doing, especially with the season that they put together last year. 13 wins kind of came out of nowhere, so really respectable season for them. But I think they have a chance to improve a little bit in this draft. I don't think their season's going to be exactly the same this year as it was last year. But I think they have a lot of potential to do something on the defensive line. I'm looking at 2 players here, and that would be Kenneth Grant and Derek Harmon. Both defensive interiors play on the defensive line. I like Kenneth Grant just a little bit more. He's 20 pounds heavier, which is a good thing. Lots of power, very explosive, can fight through double teams, and I think that's who I'm going to go with here. Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, I just think it makes sense, and I think that frame, that power on the defensive line to complement a little bit of what they want to do on the defensive line really makes for a good pick here for Minnesota.
Yeah, honestly, because I'm kind of thinking, like, this is the point where you don't have to take best player available. Like, you can kind of reach and grab a guy you think going to be better than the guys down the board because there's no real, like, blue chip guys left. There's no real, like, guy left when you're saying, like, oh, this guy's going to be a stud. This guy's going to be, like, this guy's, like, bona fide going to be a star. Like, I look at James Pierce and look at Nick Imamura, I look at John Campbell, like Siobhan Revel. I'm like, these guys can be good. Like, don't get me wrong, they have the potential is off the charts, but it's just will they actually do that here? So honestly, I like the fact they're going out and getting a guy in Kenneth Grant that suits their needs.
Makes too much sense.
Yeah, it makes too much sense. All right, but we got pick number 25 here. My second last pick of the draft. We got the Houston Texans right here. Honestly, I think they could go. They could just go wide receiver here. They could just say, screw it. We'll take We'll take Trey Harris from Ole Miss, or we'll just take a wide receiver here. Honestly, I could just see him trading back out of the spot. But why not fill a need while he's here? I mean, Derek Harmon's staring me right in the face right now, and he could be a guy you can put on that defensive line, and because that defensive line was scary last year. Will Anderson and oh my gosh, Daniil Hunter coming off the edge. Those guys are scary, but you know what's scarier than 2 really good pass rushers? 3 really good pass rushers. And I think that Derek Harmon is the perfect pick for the oh my gosh, the Texans right here, because you're thinking about like oh, this guy only had 4 sacks in college. I mean, he's a defensive tackle. Byron Murphy last year, he had like 2 or 3 sacks. And he might not necessarily like play the role, like he might not get like 13 sacks off rip, is because he's got other guys doing it for him. But I think he's going to be a difference maker on the defensive line.
Michigan State prod.
Yeah, Michigan State prod. MSU transfer.
Yeah, he's a good player though. I really like his size. I think that's going to help him out to his advantage. Very powerful rusher, especially on the defensive line.
He's like 6'4", but he's like 313 too. So he's he can get around these slower offensive guards.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, moving on to pick 26. Christian, tell me what the Rams are going to do.
The Rams, biggest need right here. Bias much?
No, I'm not biased, bro. The LA Rams were the most fraudulent team last year, bro. They should not have. Never mind. All
right, for another show.
I'm going to complain about that Rams Cardinals game at the end of the season, because that was the end of the Seahawks playoff run. That was the last time. We only got to see Geno Smith in the playoffs one time for the Seahawks, and we're never going to see Geno Smith in the playoffs again. So,
silent Geno Smith Raiders shade, crazy.
Yeah, dude, I was doing tricks on it when Geno Smith was on the Seahawks, bro. I'm a Geno Smith hater now.
I don't have anything to say about that, especially as a Raiders fan. Los Angeles Rams right here, staring at me in the face. Linebacker right here, Jahad Campbell from Alabama. Again, Alabama products. They're there for a reason. Excellent speed and power. Great frame. We're gonna go Jahad Campbell here for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, fills the Ernest Jones void.
Yeah, he slipped in this draft a little bit, at least in this mock draft. But I think definitely great value, great production. He's going to fit into LA really well. They already have such a great young defense. They showed it last year, and that really helped them stay in the wild card hunt and eventually make the playoffs. Great pick here for the Rams.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in agreement. But let's go over to pick number 27 now. Baltimore Ravens. Chris, tell me what Iowa alum Tyler Linderbaum's team is going to do.
Oh, Iowa Linderbaum.
Random shout of all time.
Look at the flag he's got behind him, dude. Like, what do you want to do?
Go Hawks.
For those of you who are not listening, Christopher Rooney, or for not watching, Christopher Rooney, he has an Iowa Hawkeye where the 50 states are supposed to be, the 50 stars are supposed to be on the flag, and then the stripes are black and yellow for the Hawkeyes. So I had the pleasure of going to Kinnick Stadium. It's great. I just wish I wasn't rooting for Rutgers. So
I don't know why you go there and root
yes,
for Rutgers.
Yes, you do.
I don't think you guys scored. Did you guys even score a point there?
Yes, we did.
I'm not a Rutgers fan. I'm not Rutgers fan. I'm not Rutgers fan.
You are a Rutgers fan. You know your roots. You know your roots. Okay? You know your roots.
Back to the Ravens pick.
Those of you who know. Those only for those of you who know.
Who's gonna sign him as unrestricted free agent?
Seahawks.
The Raiders?
Yeah, Raiders. Back up Geno. Get rid of AOC, bro. It's Spencer Petras time. It's the D.
Oh yeah, we could get rid of him. No problem.
All right, Chris. Go ahead. Actually, I won't interrupt you anymore.
All right. I think the Ravens are going to go cornerback here. I think they're going to take. Is it Siobhan Revel?
Siobhan Revel. Yeah.
Yeah. He's more of like a speed corner. He's great at deflecting the ball from the receiver's hands, and I just think that's kind of what the Ravens need here. To match him with who's that?
Nate Wiggins, yeah, dude. I was thinking the same thing.
Who's the safety that they just
Kyle Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton, yeah. I think having that whole secondary is going to be really strong, and to compete in the AFC like they've been trying to and get over that hump. I think that taking Siobhan Revel will be that go-to guy who's going to push them over.
Yeah.
Teams like the Chiefs and maybe even the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, look what they've done with Nate Wiggins, man. Look what they've done with Kyle Hamilton too, man. I mean, like this, they just know how to draft defense. I think even after losing Mike McDonald, they've shown that just it doesn't really matter who is in charge of their defense. They're just still going to produce ballers, and I think Siobhan Revel is definitely a guy. Like if there ever was like a Ravens pick, a more Ravens pick than Siobhan Revel, I'd be hard pressed to find out. Like if they're not going cornerback every single year, I'd be surprised.
I mean, he doesn't change color scheme that much.
Yeah, he's just going
East Carolina.
He's just going from the Bucks to the.
I mean, he didn't.
Ravens,
I think he's
so.
coming off of torn ACL. But
that's
I
why
don't
he's
think
down
that,
so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think that stops him. I think that honestly helps the Ravens
because they're getting a guy who's so talented. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to pick number 28, Jacob. Finally, we get to your Detroit Lions, man. Like, were they like good last year or something? Because why are they so far back here, dude?
They underperformed the playoffs, but I mean, we'll
same old.
We'll say that for another time. We'll say that for another time, but.
Yo, 14 wins for what?
We'll say that for another time.
Same old Lions.
Look,
right.
Jacob. Let's put it this way. If you combine the Seahawks, Raiders, and Giants records from last year, they have more wins than the Lions. Just think about that.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I want to think about more? This Lions pick right now. All right, let's see what we got.
All I'm saying, dude.
All right, so
we got some Iowa alums.
Well, before you go, Jacob, I want to preface that this pick is probably the Browns' first round pick because Myles Garrett is going to be a Lion. So
I sure hope so. I mean, that would make my job a lot easier here, but. I'm going to go, for the Lions, I'm going to go a little bit similar to that, especially position group. I'm going to be hinting at that. You guys left a lot on the table for me here, especially at the edge position. I feel like this is definitely one of the Lions' biggest needs. You guys maybe have me think about offensive line a little bit because Graham Glasgow is getting old and Kevin Zeitler is going to be an unrestricted free agent. He's also very old as well. I was thinking offensive tackle, offensive line, but with the edges right here that are still available, I think it's kind of a no-brainer for Detroit. Besides Aiden Hutchinson, we saw what happened this entire season with Aiden Hutchinson's absence. The defense could just not get home. Darius Smith was our number one edge rusher, and that just did not create a good mold for getting to the quarterback. So I have two choices here. James Pierce Jr., who we've raved about last episode, is still here on the board. And Donovan, I'm going to butcher this name, but Donovan Iziraku from Boston College. Iziraku, yeah, he is a fantastic player. He was the nation's best defensive end last year.
I'm surprised
in college
they have
football.
him down this so low on the board. I mean, he had 16 and a half sacks last year. That's
he's a freak of nature. Yeah, honestly, very, very good. But I'm going to go with James Pierce, and this is why I think he's more of a Brad Holmes type of prospect. Brad Holmes likes a good project, and James Pierce, very, very good edge rusher out of Tennessee. Like we said last episode, 4.47 40-yard dash, 31-inch vertical jump. But for a defensive end, that is absolutely unreal. And I just think that he obviously he's shown that he has great power, great 1-2-3 step in his first rush. But the thing he needs to improve on when he transitions to the NFL is adding more size. He's 6'5", but he's only 245 pounds. Not too bad for an edge rusher, but he gets knocked around a lot. It happened a lot at Tennessee last year. So I'd like to see him put on a little bit more weight. Obviously, a little bit more muscle, but I know he's going to do that because he'll be coming into the NFL. They'll get them on that plan. But I think he's someone that can really turn into a good pass rusher, especially with the body type that he has. I feel like just because he's still here, I feel like I have no other choice but to go with James Pierce.
I'd be freaking out. If I'm a Lions fan, I'd be freaking out if I got James Pierce. I mean, he was as high as like number 9 on some big boards at the beginning of this draft cycle. And honestly, I think the combine helped him out a little bit more because, you know, those weight concerns don't really matter if he's just getting by everybody, dude. Like, I don't think the
same thing about Aiden Hutchinson as well. Aiden Hutchinson's typically a little more undersized for an edge rusher, but he's out here dominating the league and was on track for DPOY before he got hurt last year. So it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done. It's not even like James Pierce is undersized. He's just a little bit light, but like he moves dudes. He's just a freak. So I really like that. But let's move on to pick number 29 right here to the Washington Commanders. Raise hail, as they say down in Washington. And and then this is an interesting spot because the Washington Commanders overperformed, I think, even the most diluted Commanders fans' expectations. And when you kind of overperform and you still kind of have a lot of holes on this team, like I think they're still in a position to, like, I don't think they have a lot of holes, but like they just lost Jonathan Allen. They cut Jonathan Allen. So like, do they go Tyreek Williams? Do they go Walter Nolan? Or do they go Nick Emmanwori because they haven't found a Cam Curl replacement yet? You know, and honestly, they could go Nick Scorton as well because they they're still trying to replace Chase Young, man, and they're still trying to replace Montez Sweat too. Like I'm not really too sure of their edge rushers last year, but I think the fact that they didn't have a great defense against the Eagles. I mean, 56 points. Letting Will Shipley get touchdowns. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I do think it's defensive pick. I kind of think Dan Quinn is going to have a lot of fun with Nick Emmanwori, and I think that's who they go here. I pick number 29 is Nick Emmanwori, the safety out of South Carolina, because okay, what am I going to say? This might sound crazy, but like Micah Parsons, there was a lot of versatility with him, and Dan Quinn figured out his best role, playing him on the edge. I think he could do the same for Nick Emmanwori because he's got like the size of a hybrid linebacker, but his best position, the safety. But he can honestly, I think it could, because he ends up with a guy who's so smart in Dan Quinn, they're going to find the best role for him down in Washington, and I think that's why it makes it such a good pick here.
Yeah, I mean, I rated about Nick Emmanwori last episode. Fits really, really well. I think with what Washington wants to do, that defense is already scary. Dude's gonna be a freak in the NFL. I love it.
He's gonna be so good. He's gonna be so good. But yeah, any other thoughts on this one before we get into the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, no, I think the Washington Commanders definitely got to focus on defense. Yeah, like you said, the Eagles absolutely exposed their defense, and if they want to compete in the NFC, they need to upgrade their defense. That offense looked really scary, and adding Deebo Samuel is going to make it probably even scarier. Yeah, and I think you really just got to focus on defense, probably the whole draft.
Yeah. I mean. I'm in total agreement right there. I mean, look, if you want to stop the likes of Tommy DeVito and Trey Lance, you're going to have a good defense. So I think that defense should be addressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, pick number 30.
Yeah,
Let's go, Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo, please.
All right, my last pick here of this mock. I have the Buffalo Bills. We see Nick Scorian right here on the board, obviously listed at number 27. We're at number 30, so he dropped a little bit. There are a little bit of concerns about him just because of his weight, but as an edge rusher, that's all right. And again, like, you're in the NFL, so you have those top tier nutritionists and trainers and whatnot, so he's going to get to that right weight, that right size. So we're going to have our second Texas A&M edge rusher off the board here, and the Bills are going to go Nick Scroton.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't think he's as good as the player as Shamar Stewart, but I definitely like Nick Scroton a lot. He's more of a traditional size for an edge rusher, and I think he's going to pair great with Greg Rousseau. He's another freak off the edge.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Kansas City Chiefs, 2 more to go, guys. Chris, tell me what's up. What's Mahomes Media doing?
I think they're gonna try to protect Mahomes here, and it's not a flashy pick. It's nothing sexy. I mean, earlier in my early mocks before, just when the college season ended, I was hoping that Caleb Johnson would fall here. Shout out Caleb Johnson. He should definitely be going to the end of the first round, top of second. And I think we're going to see a whole row of running backs get taken in the second round coming up. Not necessarily right now or with the Eagles, but I think coming up it's going to be running back.
I think I could see that.
This is such a deep running back class, like we said earlier. But I think the Chiefs here are going to take Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. He was a huge standout at the Senior Bowl, and I think he fits great with what the Chiefs are trying to do and protecting Mahomes so he doesn't have to scramble as much. So you can get a couple more years out of Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with this. Look, you lose Joe Thuney, just replace him with a younger, better version. So, and a less expensive version, might I add, because they're gonna stick with Trey Smith. Got rid of Joe Thuney, Gray Zabel. I mean, how do they keep getting away with this, man? That's my only question. That is just my only question here, bro. Like, this guy, he's a stud. Like, Gray Zabel, Like, I mean, didn't North Dakota State win like the FCS championship like for the 8th time in a row or something nuts like that this year? Maybe in South Dakota. But yeah, Gray Zabel, absolute stud on the offensive line.
Powerhouse. He saw a Super Bowl. It's a good pick.
Yeah. All right, last pick. Let's round it out with something good, Jake.
Proud to close out the first ever play-by-play mock draft here with the Philadelphia
1.0.
Eagles.
1.0.
1.0.
Yeah.
We
It's
don't
go
like the
birds,
Eagles,
just
man.
not those birds,
Right.
man. Just not those birds.
We're Jersey boys.
We're Jersey boys.
Jersey boys
bro.
that don't like the Eagles, but we'll preface that later. Leave it to the rest of the NFL to allow the Eagles to get the nation's best defensive end in college last year. I'm going to take Donovan Izaraku here. I feel like it's a no-brainer. They have a lot of departures at that defensive end position. I mean, Brandon Graham's getting old. Milton Williams is a free agent. It just makes too much sense. I think this is a great pick. I just raved about him when I was debating between picking him or James Pierce. So I think this is the perfect pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll replace a big need that they're losing in free agency. And, of course, they get the guy that is the nation's best defensive end by award. So I think that's who they take.
Yeah. I mean, I thought you were gonna say Mike Green for a second there. I was like, oh yeah, I know, thundering herd, bro. Like Mike Green was in some mocks was going as high as number 8, but after the combine, everybody kind of just forgot about him. So I honestly could see. I think they're gonna go edge rusher. They got to replace Brandon Graham somehow, and pairing him up with. I mean, and they're gonna lose Josh Sweat. And they're going to lose Milton Williams. I know he's on an edge rush, but they're going to lose guys in this defensive line, and they already prioritized Zach Bond first. So I would be surprised if they don't go edge here to pair him up with Nolan Smith. So, but yeah, unless you guys have any other thoughts, I think it's going to wrap it up here.
Yeah, what a great draft.
Yeah,
I think solid draft. I mean, we'll see how the free agency changes this, but as of right now, I think this is how it's going to play out.
Yeah, like if no teams. No teams like make any moves before the draft. This is exactly how it's going to play out.
I was going to say that as well. This is exactly what's going to happen. But free agency, we're almost coming up at midnight here, so it'll be 1 day away, or 2 days away rather. Sorry, 2 days away on Monday. So free agency is definitely going to have a big impact on everything, just because you never know what could happen.
Never know.
There could be there's always big names that are out there that you wouldn't even think are on the trade block, and then they end up getting traded, as well as there's very deep classes in free agency for pretty much every position this year. So. It's a very, very big offseason, which I think is going to heavily impact the draft.
Yeah.
Subject to change by far.
Subject to change, except ours. But yeah, that was the official play-by-play mock 1.0. We'll have a 2.0 and a 3.0. And hey, maybe we can even do a 4.0, 5.0. Dude, we'll do a mock draft after the draft, dude.
Yes, sir.
We are just that jazzed up here on the play-by-play show. But Christian and Chris, I want to thank you guys for joining us on a special occasion. Thank you to Jacob Smith as well for always making the time to be the best co-host in the world. And then I am Leo West, and I think that will do it here for us on the Play-by-Play show. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Deuces.
See you.